Welcome to the AmeriFirst AmeriTrust Speaker Series. My name is Craig Olmstead, and I'll be your host for today's show. Please check out our landing page and register to find out about our upcoming speakers at AmeriFirstSpeakerSeries.com and AmeriTrustSpeakerSeries.com. We're using the Zoom platform today and encourage your questions throughout the program. Please type in your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a cell phone and would like to ask a question, send an email to consideritdone@AmeriFirst.com and we will try to get those answered for you. We are incredibly excited to have Marty Rodriguez with us today. As I was reading Marty's resume and bio in preparation for her introduction, I found it incredibly challenging on how to share with you just how many awards and accolades she's earned without taking the first 20 minutes of today's show. Let me assure you that these are just the tip of the iceberg, but here goes. Marty Rodriguez has been selling real estate for the past 41 years in Southern California. In 1991, she was inducted into the Century 21 International Hall of Fame. In 1998, she was honored by the Los Angeles Business Journal as Leader of the Year. Marty was honored as one of the 100 most influential Latino business persons for Hispanic Business Magazine. For the last 6 years, Marty has been voted the favorite real estate agent by Reader's Choice. For the last 11 years and 23 times over her career, Marty and her team have been the #1 top producing team in the U.S. And for the last 5 years and 9 times in her career, the top producing team in the world. Marty and her team that delivers the dream have sold over $4.4 billion in real estate. She's been recognized by the Century 21 system as the most successful real estate agent in the history of the franchise. I could keep going, but I think you get the point of the achievements and success Marty's had over these last 41 years. Now it's time for her to share a little bit of that secret sauce. Today's panelists asking Marty questions today are Ron Burgum, President of the Southwest Division, Mark Jones, President of AmeriFirst, Dave Game, CEO of AmeriFirst. Marty, thank you so much for being with us today. And Ron, I'll let you get started with the first question.
Thanks, Craig, and welcome to our audience that's viewing today's program. I'm in the office with Marty, so I actually took advantage of one of her awards. There's about 50 in the other room that she's sitting in. I'm in the room next to her, but I'm getting the power right now with this award. So welcome, everyone. And Marty, I am so fired up to be here with you in Glendora, California, and it's an honor. We've been friends for a long time, more than 30 years, and have had great memories and shared a lot of great experiences together. I think, to me, you were the only thing. I apologize for today is we only have an hour because we're going to get as much as we can out of you, but there's a lot you can share. I want to start with your very humble background. I'm going to read your mission statement in a minute, but if you could share with our audience a little bit about you, how you got in the business, your childhood, your upbringing, and some of the things that are important for you.
I was raised about 20 minutes here from Glendora in El Monte, California. I'm one of 11 children. My mom had 11 kids in 15 years. And so we were 13 people in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in El Monte. And I went to Catholic school for 12 years. And I will tell you that I know I found my calling. I was the best Christmas card seller, the best candy seller, because in Catholic school you're always selling something. So I could outsell anybody in school since I was like 6 years old. And I would go door to door because in those days our parents did not sell our stuff for us. I would go door to door and sell everything.
And how did you get in real estate?
Actually, when I got married, my husband is the one that really pushed me to get my real estate license. So I got licensed in 1978, and I was actually at the time pretty busy because my husband had a restaurant, so I would go there and I would waitress at night and do the books, and then I would also be working. And I was living in El Monte, which is 20 minutes away, but yet I was going to start my business in Glendora, actually San Dimas, and we were also building a house in Glendora, California. So I had a lot going on at the time. And when I say build it, a lot of it, we built with our bare hands too. So, we did so many different things. And but I thank God every day because that's who made me who I am today.
That's awesome. I want to read your mission statement. Here it is. It says, to bring happiness to myself and others, to be the best example I can be so that I can inspire and change lives and bring out the best in the people I touch. Tell me about that.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping today is that I will touch somebody when we share all this information. Because, in fact, I did that, I created that mission statement at a Tony Robbins Date with Destiny seminar many, many years ago in the early 1990s. And Tony says, you can't bring something to somebody else if you can't bring it to yourself first. So when I create the statement is to bring happiness to myself and then to others, to be the best example that I can be, so I can inspire, change lives, and bring out the best in the life touch. Because remember, we're here on earth for a purpose. And that purpose is to not only help ourselves, but to help others, and to make this a better world, to make this a better industry for me. And that's why I'm here today.
Well, and we thank you for being here, and you've already inspired me. I mean, I listened to those accolades that Ron started out with, and quite honestly, outside of an Olympic athlete, to aspire to be the best in the world of anything is just, it's really out there, and just it sets a whole new bar. So wow, that's all I could say. Marty, we have a mix of loan officers and real estate professionals on the phone, and I'm going to come in from the loan officer side with this first question. For the newer loan officers out there who are trying to break into the business, what advice would you give them to create a new relationship with a realtor that they have never worked with?
I think for them, they have to get in front of the agent. Online is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for them in today's market, but getting in front of them or getting on a good team, a team that has a good reputation, because a lot of our organizations are going to teams. So if they can get on a good team, get in a good organization, or get in front of the agent and pray to God that they're going to give them an opportunity. Because once they get the opportunity, they better perform. And one thing that I can tell you in my 41 years that I've found that a lot of these lenders don't know their guidelines. And when you have a transaction that's falling apart, it's like, and I've been there before, it's like, you know what, just give me the package. You can't close it. I'm going to take it to somebody that can close this package, because it's all about knowing the guidelines, what they can offer, what they can't offer, having the resources within their companies, to go to their underwriters, this is what I've got, here's the package, what can we do? Can we do this? Can we not? And I appreciate when they come back and say, you know what, Marty, I can't do it. This package is for somebody else. So then now you have value, because now as an agent, I'm going to trust you because you were honest with me. And maybe I'm going to give you another chance to do another transaction. So, but one thing I can tell you, learn those underwriting guidelines. Every program that you have to offer. For me, I don't want to be a lender, but I remember when they started doing, the loans with no PMI, I went to a listing appointment and the client says, well, I don't have 20% down, so I guess I'm out. I go, no, you've got 780 FICO scores. I go, I can get you a loan with no PMI. I just know enough to be able to, help them. And then it's off to the lender that can offer those programs. And, we work with several different lenders, and sometimes I'll match personality, or I'm going to match the program for them. And who knows it best, whether it's, first-time homebuyer program, because a lot of the lenders, are not well versed in that. So I've got to find the one that is.
So Marty, one of the things you said in our prep call that I wanted, it bears repeating. You said, "Don't go dark on me."
Yes.
When
you're processing the loan, I like the new updates that I'm getting from a lot of these lenders. Tell me exactly where the loan is. And then when you've got a problem, you know what? When I have a problem, the first thing I do is I get on the phone and deal with the problem. I tell the client, I have a problem. This is what's going on. Because if I can handle it, I don't need to let them know. But if I think it's going to be out of my control, I'm going to let him know right now, because if something happens, guess what? My client's not going to be upset at me, because he's going to be prepared that we're going to go to a plan B if we have to. So, and when these lenders go silent on you, it drives me crazy, whether it's a lender or it's an agent. If there's a problem, come to me. If you can't do it, tell me. Maybe I can help you close it.
Wow. Great advice. Great advice. Elo's on the call. I hope you're listening closely. You're hearing a pro make it pretty easy for you. So great answer. I too want to welcome you, Marty, to the show. Such an impressive resume. And the common denominator in uber successful people, and you said it, is you have a gift of giving. You have a giving spirit. You make it about the other person. So that is so cool to hear, and not surprised that you are a leader and would have a giving spirit. So Following up, next question, kind of where you finished off there. I know that following up with customers on a disciplined, regular basis, daily, weekly, monthly, it's the center of one of your core beliefs on how to win big in the real estate business. Talk to our listeners, both realtors and loan officers. Talk to us about the art of following up and what it means to you and how following up will help us succeed in our business.
Well, I think a lot of times when our agents are giving leads to the lender, I know some of the lenders do not have a good follow-up system. And then somehow, because remember, it's up to the agent to follow up as well as the lender so that they can work together to close this transaction. But sometimes that's not happening. And if it's, the agent's fault, for example, here, if our agents don't follow up, we're going to pull the lead. We're going to give it to somebody else. If we don't see notes on your lead, that means you're not talking to that client. And if you didn't put your notes in, well, too bad, because you know what, you're not letting us know that you're actually contacting that person, and we'll pull the lead and give it to somebody else, which also the lender should be following up back with us. Are they qualified? Are they not qualified? Or maybe it's going to take 3 months to get them ready. So then we put them in a different place where we're going to follow up with them within 2 to 3 months. But the lender also needs to be following up with that client because they're getting them ready to get them approved. Maybe they've got to clean up their credit. Maybe they've got to pay some things off, what have you. Because the problem is everybody wants instant gratification. If that buyer's not ready now, guess what? Gone. But yet, we have a follow-up system here where we can see where buyers have called in 2, 3, 4, 5 times on different properties, and pretty soon they become a buyer. So either we've sold them or somebody else sold them. So we don't want somebody else to sell them. We want to sell them here. So remember, the lender is a key part of putting our transactions together. So we try to partner with good people that team up with us, that follow up together with us. And like I said, and also I know some of my agents, we do open houses, and we try to team up with the lender to make it a better open house. Because we do open house at the beginning of the listing so that we market and try to bring as many people through that first weekend. So we make it attractive for the agent that's going to sit and for the lender that's going to be there as well. But now the question is, are they following up? Because if they're not buying that house, it's okay, but are they going to be able to buy something else? Remember, those are the best leads. Those people got up that morning, they got in their car, and they started looking at houses. It doesn't get better than that. They are motivated than just a regular, cold call. So that's another way that, these people can get new business when they have no business.
Yeah, it translates. I loved what you said, that there's a consequence for not following up in your office. The consequence is you'll pull the lead. Translated, guys, following up is good news, bad news, whatever it is. If I'm hearing Marty right, it is communication, clear communication. So great answer. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Marty, let's talk about listings for a minute, because I hear everywhere I go, listing. That's how you win the game. You win by getting listings. And you need to address this in a way that's different, because I call you the accumulator, meaning you have had so much accumulation of clients over the years. The way you go get business is different than someone that's never been in that position that you're in, because you've had
Right.
so many. So what do you tell someone today to win today? What's working to go get listings for someone that didn't know you? What do you go do?
I know where I started, because before the internet, it was face to face. So in those days, I would knock doors, I would sit open houses, I would get in front of people, and then you'd meet the neighbors, and then pretty soon, there's always another neighbor that wants to sell a house. Now it's your internet presence. What does your internet presence look like? What are you doing to attract buyers and sellers? You got to get in front of them some way, somehow. And for us today, it's your internet presence. What do people know about you? What do they believe about you? What do your reviews look like? What are your clients saying about you? So all this comes into play when it comes to, getting listings today, and your performance. Once you perform, we have a lot of referral business in here. We did a transaction for somebody, and all of a sudden they're referring, their brother, their sister, their friend, or their parents. Or somebody died, and they still remember you. And I have a lot of repeat and referral business. So you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to decide. If you don't have the money, the internet's pretty easy. So you got to figure how to figure your road through the internet to get yourself and your reviews in front of your client. And then it's still, personal, face to face. You're still going to, there's a prospect everywhere. I went to Subway across the street one day, and there was somebody there, and they were talking about real estate and said they had a bad experience. So I said, you know what? Let me see what I can do for you. Let me see if I can change it. You don't like your neighborhood. And so as a result, I ended up picking up that lead, sold a house, and then they bought a house in Rancho Cucamonga. And that's because I was at Subway. And I mean, I've been at Costco, and like I said, and some people know me, some people don't, but the people that know me sometimes approach me. And so you're prospecting everywhere you go. But half these people want to be the secret agent. They don't talk about real estate to their family and friends. They don't tell the people that are in the business, because there's buyers and sellers all around you. You got to ask for the business. And I'm not afraid to ask. Sometimes I'm at the store and somebody starts talking to me. I let them know what I do. And, I try to find out if they're a buyer or seller. But there's prospects everywhere.
I couldn't agree with you more. Have you sold an Uber driver yet? That's what I want to know. You sold an Uber driver?
No, but you know what? I always talk to every Uber driver. I always ask them, where they're from, how long they've been doing it, and some of them, work other jobs. So, I'm prospecting in my own little way. Yes, because we're in an area. Our average sales price is about $550, $600 here. So, we don't sell a lot of $1 million properties, so we have to do a lot of transactions.
So Ron, I'm sure she'll let you know the moment she closes her first Uber driver loan. So Marty, I'm going to switch gears from my first question from the loan officer side now to the realtor side. Say I'm a brand new realtor, and I'm starting out from ground zero. Is there a fast jump or quick start that you would recommend for me to launch my business?
I think that if you could get on a good team that that actually works and has a higher volume that they can help you to produce, and then if you're interviewing real estate offices, don't let them interview you. You need to interview them. What do they have to offer for you? How are they going to help you succeed in your business? What are they going to do to make you a good agent? Because the problem with all these agents, they're looking for 100% commission. 100% of nothing is nothing, and the broker is going to give you nothing for 100% commission. Okay, so sometimes you've got to look at what they have to offer you.
How about a mentor? Do you advocate somebody, and particularly in a team, getting a mentor who, like yourself, who they can learn the ropes from as they're coming up and learning their craft?
Yes, I mean, I know myself, I work hard to share all my information, with my team, because I don't want them to make mistakes. I want them, to be an extension of myself. So my goal is to make them the best agent they can be, teaching them the contracts, teaching them, laws, sharing my experiences with them. And there's always something new to learn. I tell my agents, learn something new every single day, because what I have done, I have learned everything about real estate and everything that surrounds real estate, from income taxes, property taxes, exchanges, building, construction, materials. So, I don't just bring service to my clients, I bring value to my clients. And remember, today, it's about what is the value that you bring to your clients. That's what people are looking at.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. Because service
Amen.
is
Yeah, agreed. So on the same line, this is a question that about for our realtor partners that are on the call. I mean, I'm talking about realtors who've been in the business for a while, successful realtors that have been doing this for a while and have been successful, that understand that the real estate game is dramatically shifting with social media, the discount brokerage models, purple bricks, that style, iBuying, Zillow, you name it, all of the new disruptors, if you will, that have come into the industry. The traditional brokerage model is in huge flux. Business is off. There's some concern out there, uncertainty. What do you tell these guys how to get their business back on track and get back in that game?
You know what? They they still have to go back to basics. You know, there's going to be, you know, the for sale by owners. You know, we've all been through that. You know, there's Zillow, there's iBuyer, there's all these people. But you know what? I'm not going to let them scare me out of my business. I don't care about them. I know what I'm capable of doing. And I know, you know, they're coming at us with a vengeance, but guess what? I am so much better than I was 20 years ago. They don't have, you know, the experience, the knowledge, the attitude, you know, for me, it's, no is not an option. And, you know, we called one of those people the other day, just testing him out. It's pretty interesting. You know what? You get what you pay for. It was, if I had been a real buyer, that would not have been a very good experience. Because you know what? They don't have the best of the best. They don't have the Marty Rodriguez running those, you know, Zillow buyers, iBuyers. And, you know, sometimes when you look at the transactions that we close and how much energy we have to expend, and when there's problems and keeping them together and closing 3 escrows, can they do that? I don't think so, because I've seen it myself.
If I'm Zillow, I'm scared of Marty Rodriguez. That was awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Great stuff, guys. Great questions, Marty. Thanks for all that great information, and I know that'll resonate with a lot of people. We've got a number of great questions coming up still from our panelists, but don't forget, we'd love to have questions from the audience members, and put those questions right down in the Q&A session right at the bottom of your Zoom menu bar. If you don't have a menu bar, you're on your cell phone. Again, remember, you can shoot me a text for those of you that have my cell phone number, or send an email to consideritdone@amerifirst.com, and we'll get those questions asked and answered for you.
Marty, I want to ask you this question regarding
Yes.
balance. So to me, and have known you so long, and I know you have a definition that's different from maybe others have about life, work, balance, but at the end of the day, you're trying to achieve happiness in your life. So talk to us and talk to the audience about balance, work and play, how that works for you.
Well, actually, you know, I shared with you in the book, Everyone's a Coach by, you know, Ken Blanchard and Don Shula. There's a little thing that he wrote in there that actually really describes me. This is who I am. The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he is to her, she is always doing both. And that's me, because you know what? I love my job. You know, I was born with whatever this special thing that God gave me, this addiction to whatever it is that, you know, I want to do. And my addiction is to work and to help others and to take care of my family. And, you know, on Wednesdays, we would go out, and we kind of went off of that. So on Wednesdays, you know, that's my date night, because Monday through Friday, I'm usually working, you know, later. So I still try to make time, you know, for my husband, or, you know, he goes with me on not really appointments anymore, but if I've got to, you know, drive far, you know, he'll go with me so I can, you know, spend some time with him. But I'm really lucky because I get to work with my kids. My daughter, Shelly, graduated from USC Marshall School of Business. So she is our responsible broker. She runs our business and our personal business. She makes sure that nothing goes into my head that doesn't belong there, so I can focus on selling. And that's why I'm good at what I do. And then my son, Sean, does all my IT technology and helps me with anything to do with construction. In fact, I'm working on a brand new house. So yesterday he went with me because the builder was having some issues on some of the items that he needed to put into the house. So we went over to discuss that with him. So, you know, I get to work with my kids. I get to see them, because if we didn't work together, I might not get to see them every day. So I'm really, really fortunate. And, you know, my husband helps us with our, you know, our properties. And so we all work together, because this is not my business, it's our business together. And I've been married for, Ron, you know my husband, we've been married 48 years, and he's a saint. He is going to heaven. I already know that.
Heroic.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Well, the other thing that we talked about, was, you do work out and you do eat
Yes.
well. So you do put yourself in the right situation. So from a physical perspective, you're always working on your health. You're working on eating right. You're working out. And I know your daughter works out, and so everyone else in the family works out. So that's a good thing.
Exactly. Well, and because I think your energy is so important to your work, because if you're sluggish, then you're not going to have the energy. This business takes a lot of energy. It really does. When you think about how much we expend in putting transactions together, keeping them together, working with your staff, working with your agents. So we need to be in shape. And for me, when I gain weight, I feel sluggish. I don't feel good. I don't feel right. So it's important. My dad lived to be 93. My mom lived to be 96. And my dad said, you know what? Learn something new every day and keep moving or you're dead. So I'm going to keep moving.
What did you say to me today? You said, without purpose, there is no life.
That's right. And because people say, when are you going to retire, Marty? I go, retire. I am so good at what I do now. Why would I retire? And I said, when you give people purpose, you give them life, whether it's because I'm working or you have older family members and like after my dad died, my sister, they would dress my mom up every day. They would pick her up, take her to lunch, take her here, take her there. And, she lived to be 96. I never dreamed she'd live to be 96. But when you give people purpose and reason for living, you give them life and they live longer.
So that dovetails really nicely with my next question. So Marty, you've been doing this for a long time and you've been at the top of your game for a long, long time. How do you keep motivating yourself to keep going, keep pushing? A lot of folks that have been doing it as long as you have would start suffering from a little burnout, but you're like almost just getting started. What drives you to keep going and keep pushing yourself?
You know what? I just, I have this amazing energy that, that God gave me. And I feel like I need to put it to good use. And, I think about my dad all the time, because he had this much energy till he was 92 and a half. And I know that if I stop or I stop thinking, and also my dad was a voracious reader. So my mom and dad were all there till the day they died mentally. And so for me, even my girls will tell you, I have a great memory. In fact, I think they wish I'd forget half the things I remember around here. But I do, and that memory helps me putting my transactions together, remembering my clients, and tying things together and bringing new clients into your sphere. So I just wake up feeling that way, and sometimes you wake up and you're kind of achy, but I know if I go down on that treadmill and I start working out, it's gone. You got to keep moving those joints, just like you got to keep oiling them. And remember, and the same thing with your mind. You got to keep your mind working, and everything that I do is just exercise to this amazing computer that I have now, because there's so much important information in here that other people don't have. It's kind of, what did Ronnie Reagan say when they told him about, they made a comment about his age, and he says, I won't focus on my opponent's, inexperience.
Yeah.
So
That was a
me,
great line.
yes, it was. And
I gotta go.
for me,
I was going to say I got to go put my gym shoes on and head to the gym. So.
you know what? And trust me, there's days I don't want to get up. It's like, no, get up. You got to keep moving.
I hear you. Agreed. Yeah, great answer. I suspect after listening to that the happiness, pure happiness that is contagiously coming live to me of what you do, who you do it with, your family, and the way that you take care of yourself physically and mentally. I'm not sure exactly how old you are, but probably 110, 120. I'm guessing somewhere in that. I don't know if you get to Moses' age, but you're gonna get her going on there. That's impressive.
If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help other people. So
I agree.
We need to be healthy to be able to take care of them. I mean, I know people who are younger than me. They're sitting on the couch. They don't get up, and pretty soon they can't get up.
Amen.
I don't want to be that person, because our dad and mom raised us different. To eat healthy. I don't know. My dad had this thing. He would tell us if we gained weight, he'd say, "Hey, you got too much lard on you. You need to get some of that lard off." He would say that to us. So I still
the truth will motivate you. Yeah, that's awesome. So spinning off the last question that Mark just asked, clearly your excitement or your juice for what you do in the real estate business is clear. You are fired up. In the business side, so we talked about the personal side and how you stay healthy in the family, but what part of the business today really drives you? Is it the digital marketing? Is it dealing with your past client base? Do you like the new listing business? Do you like selling face-to-face? What part of the real estate business today really fires you up?
You know what? I think it's all of it. And I know that my people will tell you, I get anxiety thinking, are we here? Are we there? Are we doing this? Are we doing that program? I get anxiety thinking about those things that I feel like I'm missing something because every day, this business is going in a different direction. So, it all excites me. And my concern is, am I doing everything I need to do? So we keep learning, we keep working, we keep trying to find new ways to do business better. But the one thing I can tell you, I'm a master communicator, I'm a master texter, master emailer, and what I have over all these young people, I'm a master communicator. These kids today don't want to communicate. I can't get people sometimes to call me back. They'll send offers and I'm like, I'm trying to track them down. It's like, do you guys want a response? I need some help from you. I don't get responses, or from, or lenders that don't return our calls.
How do you, I think of the vast number of past clients that would be on your list. What's your choice of, how do you communicate with your database? I mean, I'm sure how do you do it?
Before it was mailers, but now it's email, getting in front of them on email. And we were actually sending calendars, but that's going to be a thing of the past. So we need to change and do something else different. And that's what we're working on right now, is how are we going to stay in front of them? And I do have a great internet presence. I have over 587 reviews, and they're good because remember, how you do your business, how people see you, how people respond to you is how the world sees you. Because that information is all over the world. Before, you and I would just be getting in front of people, one person at a time, and now we're in front of, millions, thousands of people at a time.
Great answer.
And when these young kids are putting things on Facebook, Instagram, they need to be careful because that will come back to bite them.
Great advice.
Hear, hear. Well, Marty, I've got, we're about the halfway point here, just a little bit past that. I've got some comments, and I've got a couple of questions here. Ron Garber sent me a note and said that the two of you guys, their teams got together 25 years ago, and he so appreciated how he appreciates the fact that you've always learned and shared from the best, and so you've got a fan out there joining our ranks here as well. So.
Hi, Ron.
Also, Aaron Huber just made a comment that he loved the quote that you gave earlier. Just found it to be so motivating and awesome. To Lorraine, yes, we are recording this, and so we will get the copy out to everybody that has registered, or you can reach out to your loan officer here at AmeriFirst or AmeriTrust. Also, a little note to Jose Alvarez, who has a question about taking over a farm, but I'd like him to maybe specify that a little bit in a follow-up question here, just so we can make sure we get exactly what you're looking for, Jose. But another question here I've got for you, Marty, is after 41 years in the business, how do you start your day, and how do you stay motivated all day? I mean, I think we've heard a little bit about your motivation, and you just do it. But what does an average day look like for you today after 41 years in the business?
My days, really vary because Sunday's my day off. But, even though it's my day off, I'll still answer my phone. And, if something important has to, needs my attention, I will do that. And then Mondays, I probably start just a little bit later, maybe by 10 o'clock. And then I'm probably working that night till anywhere between 10 and midnight. And then Tuesdays look about the same. Is that Tuesdays, Thursdays are my workout. I have a girl that comes to my house and at 6:45, and I do my workout. But then when she's done, I'm on my treadmill, and I'm doing emails and responding to whatever needs to be responded to. And then usually on some of the days, I like to start at home because I'm going to work really late. I'm going to be here, like I said, till 10 or 12, depending on what my appointments look like. Wednesdays, I try to get out and make that date night by 7:30. Saturdays is, a working day for me. And I also try to get out a little bit early because then we go to dinner and we have a house at Newport Beach that we drive to, and we spend Sundays down there and come home early on Monday morning. So that's usually what, my day looks like. Every day, the one thing I can tell you, why I stay motivated, Bill Gates said, success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose, and it is an unreliable guide to the future. So you know what? My success is in the past. Every day I need to be working on the success of tomorrow, because tomorrow is different, and you know how different it's been for us. The changes were slow, but now with the internet, changes are quick and fast, and we got to be quick, we got to be fast, and we got to be first.
Yeah, that's wow, I just got chills down my spine, Marty. That's really, really powerful, and obviously structure is certainly just one little key to your success as well. You've obviously embraced social media, and wanted to just touch on that a little bit. I think both of our industries have the average age of the employees at somewhere in the low to mid 50s, and some people just haven't really don't know how to embrace it, haven't embraced social media technology. What advice can you give to them? And have you done it yourself or your team members? I mean, are you out there tweeting and doing all the things that all these kids are doing these days?
Well, actually, Jamie does our social media for us. So Jamie and I sit pretty much close together. So, when we're responding to, I try to respond to my own notifications. And then Jamie also helps me during the day, because I can't be on Facebook all day. I've got to be working. So Jamie's watching it and letting me know things that I need to know during the day. And she'll respond, for me, say, hey, Marty, this happened. What do you want me to say? And I'll let her know. But Jamie handles the social media, because if you're not doing it, somebody's got to be doing it for you. But you've got to be there. It's not an option. And we're also, we're working with our team members to be on social media, to be doing, videos.
Perfect.
And we have an awesome team. And just so you know, in this company, everything is organized, systemized, computerized, color-coded, labeled. Every position has a manual, and every position is cross-trained. And that's why it works. And that's, and that's Shelley. She runs the business side of this business. And rules and systems are not compromised, because once you compromise your system, you have no system.
Well, you just teed us up for the next question from Rebecca Lowry, and she's out at Remax office in Anderson, Indiana. And the question is, how many people do you have currently on your team?
There is 13 on the staff and management, and then 13 agents. And I am strictly pretty much a listing agent. It's very rare that I will represent a buyer. I work on the listing side. If my seller becomes a buyer, then I will refer that to one of my buyer's agents, but I also, will be involved in the communication. And that's why we do a great job. You've got to know your place, and you've got to know that you can't do everything and be all things to everybody. So you have to focus on your strengths.
And I think I remember on our pre-call the other day that when everybody else was kind of shrinking in 07, 8, 9, you actually were growing, and you saw it as an opportunity. So it sounds like you've never been bashful about building the team up.
Well, because you know what? Remember, we provide service and we provide value. So I'm able to do that with the team. You can't be a one-man show and do all the things that we do and expect to do, any type of, volume as well.
Yeah, agreed.
And that team goes beyond the office. It's from my escrow officer, Diane, and I have probably worked together for almost 30 years. My title officer and I have worked together for probably about 24 years. So, and then, a lot of the lenders I've worked with, I go back to 1989 with. So I have a lot of longevity. And remember, longevity is because you showed me that you're good and that you're willing to learn and be better and bring service to my customers as well, and value.
You're here. Love it. Love it. I got a little more clarity from Jose, and he says, I've gone up to potential sellers in Glendora, and they all know about Marty. How did she create that from someone that has no farm area? What would she recommend? Or no farm or focused area, what would she recommend?
Well, when I started, I had a farm. That's how I started. I started, farming neighborhoods, and then pretty soon it was just, between farming, open houses, and then in those days, we were doing, I was doing mailers into those neighborhoods for the properties that I represented. So I was always, out there working, and my signs were always out there. So they've got to start somewhere. And if I didn't have the money, I used to make my own little, crummy little looking flyers, but it didn't matter. The people saw me all the time. Remember, the client, the customer has to see you, and they kept seeing me, even though what I left was not really probably that great. It was about being, for me, in those days, being in front of them. So now you got to get in front of them, on the internet as well as, in person. So that's what he has to work on.
Right. Good. Perfect.
And maybe
right.
getting on a team, that will provide, more leads as well as, cold calling and systems. But you've got to do something. Remember, you've got to communicate with somebody to get a buyer or a seller. How are you going to do that? Are you talking to people? Are you cold calling? Are you warm calling? Who are you talking to?
Right. We've got a couple of questions here, but I'm going to turn it back to the panelists, and we've got some other questions here. But we'll have time at the end to probably answer a few more questions. So feel free to keep those coming in the Q&A box. Ron?
Thanks, Craig. Marty, so I watched an interview that you had done, and what you talked about was this movie Up. I think it's called Up in Air, and it was about it was George Clooney, right? And that struck a nerve with you, and you talked about that. So I want to hear what that meant to you about being in real estate.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah. Repeat the question.
Ron, you garbled.
Yes.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. So there was this movie called Up in Air with George Clooney traveling across the country, and he was firing people. And you made a comment in an interview that I saw you on a few years ago, and I want you to talk about what that meant to you as being a real estate agent.
Yes. You know what? I watched that movie. Yeah, I got the question. I watched that movie Up in the Air with George Clooney. So he worked for a big company, and he was hired to go across the country and fire all these people at all their different, locations. And, I think it finally got to him at the end. I remember he was firing this one guy, and he told him, that they were letting him go. And the guy says, wow, he goes, I'm 59 years old. Who do you think is going to hire me at this age? And it's like, wow. I says, how lucky are we? Nobody can fire us but us. Nobody gives me a promotion but me. Nobody gives me a raise but me. I decide what happens in my future. If I want a raise, my raise becomes effective when I become effective. Your raise becomes effective when you become effective. And nobody can fire you but you. You decide if you want to be in this business, or you decide if you want to be out of this business. What does it take to stay in business? And that is customers. So if you don't find your customer, you don't get in front of the client, and you can't close them, then you're out of business. So learn every day, prospect, role play, call, get in front of the customer, figure out how you're going to build your business. And remember, I'm in the people business. I'm all about taking care of my client, doing what's best for them, getting them, the best price, being fair. And like I said, it's all about the customer, because guess what? Without my customer, I'm nobody.
And to that point, I'm sorry, Rod, what were you saying? You muted anyway, brother. So to that point, you talk about, and I've heard you say this, being relentless in everything that you do and immersing yourself in your business. Can you talk about how you bring value to your customers?
Well, as I mentioned before, I immersed myself in the business. I got into this business and I love it. And I remember when I was brand new, I was going to this seminar, that seminar. I felt like I couldn't, learn enough, and the people that I worked with would make fun of me. They would, they'd come in, drink coffee, read the newspaper, complain all day, and then go home. And I was trying to, learn. I didn't know what to do. So I found this seminar, I found that seminar, and I kept learning. And then pretty soon I immersed myself in my business, whether it was knocking doors, doing open houses, learning. And then, I finally, when I built my team, I really started, going to the Mike Ferry seminars, and Mike does a great job when it comes, to the basics of this industry. And now, Tom does an awesome job with the, the internet portion and, coming into the new age. So I love them both. I've learned so much from both of them. So whoever you are, if you're not learning something new every day, immerse yourself in the business, like I said, in the training, taxes, income taxes, building, construction materials. If you're not learning all of this, you're never going to be great at this business. So get up every day and say, this is what I'm going to learn today. This is what I'm going to learn tomorrow, because that's how you're going to get experience. And people cannot buy experience. You have to create it within yourself. And that's what will make you great.
Awesome. Value, value, value. Thank you.
Yeah, that indeed that is great advice. So as I'm listening and think back to some of what I've heard you say, your definition of success is executing the fundamentals. And so when in our call the other day, you pointed to that, and you said that people have lost the skill or the ability to communicate personally well. We rely way too much on electronics, email, texting, and Snapchat, whatever it might be. That personal communication has kind of evaporated. Talk to us about what you mean by getting back to the art of communication.
I think that it's just, for me, it's, communicating with my people. I'll text, I'll email, and sometimes I'll just have to pick up the phone and call them. And they will, some will answer, some will not, but, it's like prospecting. And I'm actually kind of upset with myself because I feel like I get so busy that I forget to do a little bit more of my warm calling to my past clients. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And like I said, text, like last night, I'm working on a transaction. I was going to go home early, work from home, but you know what? I'm trying to put together this big transaction, and I'm actually helping the agent write the counter offer back to me. So I thought, no, I'm coming back to the office. So I stayed here till probably about 11:30 last night, working on it. And that's what you call relentless, because you do what you have to do no matter what it takes. And I can't wait one more day because I know the type of buyer that she has could be, leaving the country anytime now. So every minute counts. And that's what you call relentless. And sometimes, are you tired? Yes, but I will work even if and I will never, by the way, I'll never admit I'm tired. No way. And I don't want my people to, to know that I'm tired, even if I am, because you know what, I have to be the example. So, and that's what relentless people do. They will push beyond the envelope until they get it done. And that's what I do. And so last night I was actually communicating with the agent. This agent actually picks up her phone and responded, because I could have never done that in a text or an email. So, we were talking and trying to negotiate how we can put this together with, both of our clients and be fair and make everybody happy. But like I said, she was willing to pick up the phone to make that happen. And that's what I try to share with some people, because sometimes, they lose the deal because they never picked up that phone and got relentless and made the extra call, and let's put it together and let's negotiate, let's massage it, because I will bring a dead horse to life, and I've done it many times. So, and that's what these young people, they don't get. By the way, I watched that movie Midway the other day, and the Officer Best, remember when he would come in? I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, but they did a great job portraying the feelings that man had. And when he came in, and he was shooting down all the other planes, he was just on a beeline to get through, shoot down the planes, and he was successful every time. And they made a comment, they were successful in that war because of people like him. I am successful in this business because of people like me who are beeline to make it happen, and no is not an option. And I've taught that to my girls, whether it's not even just in real estate, it's in other personal issues that they've had where, one of my girls was, I don't know, she was going somewhere, and it was on her plane flight, and they told her no. I go, no, get on the phone right now. Call this person, call that person. And she made it happen. And she said, wow, Marty, now I get it. I said, yeah, no is not an option. Do you know how many times I've gotten past no? My daughter was a little girl. She said, Mom, she said, yes means yes and no means yes. And I said, that's right. That's right. And she practiced on me, but a lot of times I did win, but I still have that same attitude. No is not an option. If there is a will, there's a way, and I will find it.
Marty, I'll add one more word to your that could go on your introduction. I think it was on there, but I think the word passionate would apply here. I absolutely just love listening to you. It's just a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you're right. And if you're not passionate about whatever you're doing, I don't care. My granddaughter is working for a Guitar Center, and she's selling drums, and she knows everything about drums. And she showed me this review. A guy says, the service is not very good, but if it wasn't for the girl in the drum department, they were talking about her, because you know what? That's what she's passionate about. And I'm like so happy for her because she found her passion. Mine is real estate. Other people's are other industries, but whatever it is, find your passion and immerse yourself into that business, whatever it is, whether it's being a lender, whatever you choose. In fact, when my daughter graduated from USC, I told her, I said, Shelly, I don't want you to think that you have to work for me, because I would never do that to one of my kids. And she said, Mom, I love working for you. And she's been working for me ever since. But I wanted her to love her job as much as I love mine.
Good for you, Marty. That's great. Yeah, the epitome of relentless for sure. Our marketing department is going to love you. They take 30 and 60-second clips out of these interviews and put little snippets together. So you're making it really easy for them. Thank you so much for that. I want to get to a couple of questions. Zachary Mayhew, I love this question. In the age where more and more buyers are using online mortgage providers for their initial pre-approvals, often done before they meet with a realtor, how do you coach them to use the mortgage loan officers you have relationships with?
You know what? I let them know that sometimes the other agent on the other end does not like these online, lenders, because they're so impersonal and they can't reach anybody. So, I try to get them to cross-qualify with one of our lenders of choice. And we're able to do that many times. And sometimes I tell them, look, also, you're looking for the best deal, and maybe my lender can give it to you. And sometimes, you and I know if they got a high FICO score, then they're gold, and you know who you're going to take those people to. So, I know that, remember, sometimes I'm not even the buyer's agent. I'm the listing agent, and I'm able to take let me give you an example. I sold a house for $700,000, and it was like high end for that neighborhood, but it was an awesome house. And so the buyer went to their own lender. Appraisal came in at 640. I was like, no way, this is not happening to me. So I told the agent, I go, look, you got to switch lenders. She goes, well, they want to pick their own lender. And I go, no, I know their FICO scores. They've got 750 FICO scores, and I know who's going to give them the best interest rate. So sure enough, it was my lender. pull the loan. My lender took it. Our appraisal came in at 705 and we closed at 700. But that's what I'm telling you. I buyer and those people cannot do what I do. They could never have done that transaction for that client the way I did it and put it together. And guess what? That client just gave me another listing for $998,000 because of my performance. So remember, how you do your business is your best advertisement.
Snowballs even happen in California. The snowball effect of all of that. Debbie Trowbridge wants to ask, what would a new lender need to do if they wanted to get in front of you?
New lender, really it's about bringing value. What can you offer that nobody else can? And, are we going to give you that chance to, to perform? Because right now for us, we've got, 5 lenders that we use right now. So unless maybe you want to get on one of their teams, or you want to go to, like I know Ron and I go way, way back, and, you have a great man working for you, because Ron knows what people like me expect from your lenders. So
yeah, and he's helping coach a number of our loan officers as well. So
that's awesome. And and you're right. It's harder to break in the door, but it's harder to get listings. But with experience and people like your team behind your people is how they're going to get in the door. And then they've got to show them that they can bring value. And then they got to pray to God that they give them that chance. And you can't make one mistake. You make one mistake and you're out.
So Marty, along those same lines, if I was a loan officer and you were the listing agent on one of my deals and I serviced the daylights out of you, would you give me a shot to be one of your 5?
You know what? That could be possible depending on what program you have, because that's how some of these people have come on my team, is by their performance. And also for them, they've been able to get on other people's teams because of their performance. And that's how it works. If you show a listing agent that you've done a great job and vice versa, a lot of these people have been able to build their clientele just by being on the other end of a transaction.
All right, great. We got time for one more question. Jim Gaffney asks, what is the number one thing you would encourage a new realtor to do when they first start in the business?
To find the right office, the right company. Like I said, you're going to interview them. What are they going to offer you? What are they going to teach you? How fast can you get to where you need to be able to, list and sell? Because remember, 80% of nothing is nothing. Don't be looking for commission. Be looking for, right now, looking for training, who's going to teach you, who's going to bring you value. You know what? Because I was fortunate. When I started, I had the best teacher. The brokerage I went to, the people in the office were, like I told you, they were coffee drinkers. But the one guy that was the kind of the sales manager teacher, he was awesome. He was not a great salesman, but he was the greatest teacher. He taught me a lot. And so, I was very fortunate. Jim taught me the contract. Jim taught me how to prospect. Jim taught me what to say and how to say it. And, when I would go to these seminars, he encouraged me. It wasn't the broker, it was Jim.
Got it. That's great.
You got to find that Jim in your life that's going to, care about you and teach you, or that other, agent that'll take you under your wing. But a lot of times these agents are too busy. They don't have time for you. And, and be careful, because you don't want those agents to use you. There's agents that will just use you to sit open houses, and, because I remember that's what they did to me. Agents would have me sit open houses where there was no traffic, and I'd sit there all day and nobody would come by, So make sure that it's somebody who's giving, that wants to share, that wants to help you. Remember, don't let them interview you. You interview the agency you're going to work for.
Good deal. That's awesome. I love that. Love that advice. One last shout out here from Patrick Huber. Said, please tell Marty I miss her and should be there with Ron right now. Known and worked with you for over 28 years and did the power player groups and early morning calls and all that stuff on the treadmill, lead gen, etc. So he says he misses you a lot. Well, we're right at the top of the hour, Marty. Yeah, we're right at the top of the hour, Marty. Thank you so much for that. I want to turn it back over to the panelists just to give some some final thoughts and comments.
Well, let me start by saying, Marty, your passion for this business is contagious. And I'll tell you what, if the people on this call did not get 14 ideas out of it and get their blood pressure up a little bit, then they were sleeping. So thank you so much for sharing this hour with us. You're an incredible woman and an inspiration to our industry. And thank you again for being part of our AmeriFirst series.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope somebody learned one thing today.
Hey, Marty, I'll let Ron finish it up, but I echo what Mark said. Inspiration, that'd be the word. So inspiring, so insightful, so willing to give of yourself. I respect that and humbled that you would join us on our Hour of Power. So thank you so much for what you do. What you've done today is a gift indeed to our guests, our loan officers, our realtor partners. We're just blessed to have you here. So God bless you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Marty, I think Superman is spelt with an M. For sure.
No, it's Wonder Woman.
It's everything. It's all of the above, but you are truly a superhero and a superhuman to boot. And I love you very much. I'm just a room away and I feel the power coming through the wall. And it's what an amazing day. And like echo what everyone else said, the ideas and the passion. If this doesn't motivate someone, then you probably should be, selling RVs or something, because this is what it's all about. This is real deal right here. Love you.
Yeah. Love your job. I love it.
Well, wanted to thank everybody on the call for joining us today. We will get the recordings out here over the next few days, and have a great rest of the week and weekend. Thanks, everybody, and take care.